It's been a heavy 24 hours in the world of entertainment and beyond. We've lost voices, talents, and community figures whose work touched millions. And tonight, we take a moment to honor them. From legendary actors and groundbreaking journalists to musicians who defined an era, their stories remind us how fragile and how powerful life can be. In this episode, we'll move quickly but respectfully through the moments that shaped their legacies, and update you on a few developing stories the world is still reacting to. Some details are still coming in, and we'll clearly mark those as reports or early claims. But what's certain is that every life remembered here left a mark worth celebrating. Let's begin. There was something unforgettable in her eyes, a quiet intensity that could fill an entire scene without a single word. That was Samantha Eggar. For more than 5 decades, she moved effortlessly between stage, film, and television, bringing truth to every character she touched. Her breakout in The Collector didn't just earn awards, it announced a new kind of presence in cinema. A Golden Globe, a Cannes win, and an Oscar nomination all followed. But what audiences remembered most was her ability to make stillness feel electric. She could shift from the elegance of Dr. Dolittle to the haunting depths of The Brood, without losing that quiet control that made her performances so human. On television, she showed the same range: Starsky and Hutch, Columbo, All My Children, roles that carried her craft into living rooms around the world. And for younger generations, her voice became a familiar comfort in animation and video game classics, from Hercules to the 007 franchise. Friends say she never forgot where it began, on the Shakespearean stage, where she learned that truth and timing matter more than fame. Samantha Eggar passed away in March 2024 at 85, surrounded by family after a brief illness. She leaves behind her children, Jace and Jenna, and a lifetime of performances that continue to breathe on screen. Graceful, fierce, completely unforgettable. Her legacy isn't just remembered, it's felt every time her stories play again. Every morning began the same way for Larry Williams. Scripture in hand, reflection in silence, purpose in his heart. That small ritual said everything about the man he was. A man of conviction, of balance, and of faith. Before the boardrooms and the college stadiums, Larry was a fighter in the trenches. A 2-time All-American lineman at Notre Dame who played with both strength and humility. Drafted into the NFL, he built his reputation not just on power but on character, the kind of teammate who led without raising his voice. But what truly defined Larry's life came after the game. While still in the league, he earned his law degree, setting the stage for a second career that would touch countless lives. As athletic director at universities from Portland to Marquette, Akron, and finally San Francisco, he built programs around people. Not profits, not prestige, but people. Coaches remember his steady humor. Students remember that he always made time to listen. Under his leadership, teams grew stronger, not just in records but in respect. At Portland, he celebrated a national championship in women's soccer. At Akron, he helped revive national attention for men's basketball. But Larry never measured success in trophies. Only in the hearts he helped shape. He passed at 62 of natural causes, leaving behind his wife Laura, their 5 children, and a legacy that stretched far beyond the field. To those who knew him, Larry Williams was more than a leader. He was proof that true greatness is built quietly, one act of kindness at a time. Before podcasts, before the endless scroll of headlines, there was a single, steady voice that made the news feel human. That voice belonged to Susan Stamberg. When she first stepped behind a microphone in the early 1970s, few women in broadcasting had a seat at the table. Susan didn't wait for one. She built her own. As the first woman to anchor a national nightly news program, co-hosting NPR's All Things Considered, she didn't just report the world. She helped people understand it. Her voice carried warmth, clarity, and empathy, a rare combination that turned stories into conversations. Whether covering breaking news or everyday life, Susan had a way of making complexity feel simple and the serious feel personal. For more than 5 decades, millions trusted her voice not because it was loud, but because it was real. Awards soon followed, every major broadcasting honor, a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, and her place in both the radio and broadcasting halls of fame. But those closest to her say her greatest pride came not from recognition, but from the people she lifted up along the way. She mentored young reporters, encouraged curiosity, and demanded compassion, reminding them that journalism isn't just about facts, it's about people. Susan Stamberg passed away at 87 after a brief illness, leaving behind her son, actor and writer Josh Stamberg, and generations of journalists who followed her path. Her legacy isn't just heard in archives, it lives in every reporter who dares to make their audience feel. If you've ever walked the streets of Chicago and felt the city's heartbeat in the murals, the poetry or the grit of its skyline, you've already met Tony Fitzpatrick. He didn't just live in Chicago, he was Chicago. Every corner, every bird, every scar of that city found its way into his art. For more than 40 years, Tony blurred the lines between painting, poetry, and protest. His collages exploded with color and contradiction. Saints beside boxers, birds beside headlines, beauty beside anger. His work hung in the halls of the Met and the Art Institute of Chicago, yet he still spent his days talking with young artists in corner cafes, reminding them that art wasn't about fame, it was about truth. He was a writer who turned stories into pictures, and pictures into stories. An actor who brought the same unfiltered honesty to The Fugitive and Philadelphia that he did to his canvases. And a mentor whose words could cut through doubt like a flame through fog. Tony's Gallery. World Tattoo became a refuge for misfits and dreamers, a place where artists learned to color outside every line. He spoke on radio, performed on stage, and kept sketching birds, tiny messengers of hope, until the end. He passed at 66 after a brief illness, leaving behind his wife Michelle, and a city forever stamped with his imagination. His art still watches from brick walls and museum glass, reminding everyone who sees it that courage and compassion can share the same frame. Tony Fitzpatrick may be gone, but Chicago will always speak in his colors. Across the world tonight, stories of resilience, loss, and humanity continue to unfold, each one a reminder of how fragile and connected we all are. Reports from France say legendary actress and activist Brigitte Bardot, now 91, remains hospitalized following surgery for a serious illness. Loved ones say her condition is improving, and she's expected to return home to Saint-Tropez soon. Fans everywhere are sending prayers and gratitude for a woman who turned her fame into a lifelong mission for animal rights. In Arlington, Washington, the Hang family is still searching for 21-year-old Jonathan, who lives with autism and vanished one quiet night in March. Weeks later, security footage showed him walking calmly through a distant neighborhood, clean, unharmed, and seemingly cared for. His family holds on to hope that someone out there knows more. From Riverside County, colleagues mourn Lieutenant Nathan Cass, who tragically lost his life in a hunting accident. After 25 years of service, he leaves behind a reputation for leadership, kindness, and faith, and a community that now carries his example forward. In Adelaide, Australia, a court case shocked residents as a mother admitted to faking her son's cancer diagnosis to collect donations. While her deception hurt many, it also revealed something powerful: the instinctive compassion that still drives people to help when they believe someone is suffering. In Dallas, Texas, investigators are piecing together the cause of a small plane crash that claimed 3 lives. Neighbors describe the victims as pillars of their community, friends, volunteers, and family members who will be remembered for their warmth more than their tragedy. Television fans remember Andrea Evans, the beloved soap star from One Life to Live and The Bold and the Beautiful. After a brave battle with cancer, she leaves behind a legacy of resilience and artistry, and a memoir that captures the strength she lived every day. And in Rye, New York, an odd story brought laughter amid loss, 3 teenagers stole over 200 stuffed animals from Playland Amusement Park. The community, instead of anger, responded with humor and support, proving again that even strange stories can show how people come together. Finally, in Maryland, hearts are heavy after the passing of Delegate Charles Otto, a steady voice for small towns and honest work. To those who knew him, he wasn't just a lawmaker. He was a neighbor who always made time to listen. As we close tonight, every name we've shared carries a lesson. In kindness, creativity, courage, and grace. Take a moment to remember them, and if one of these stories touched your heart, share a memory in the comments below. Because remembrance isn't just about looking back, it's about keeping their light alive. Together,